Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nothing. Welcome to Nothing.
You know why it's nothing? Because everything is in place and in order.
Guys, I'm just kidding. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your game previews for the football season. A brand new season is about to begin for high school football, as last season was very chaotic, but a brand new season for high school football is about to begin. And these teams are about to once again come back out on the field and do what they got to do to get to the championship game. You already know 4 preseason games for each team, 15 weeks. Let's get through it and let's go because this is about to get crazy. Well, in a couple of minutes, we are going to be starting off the game previews will go live at 10:25. So we will start with the game previews in just a couple of minutes. All right, you guys, and welcome to your game previews. Hello, everyone. Alex here for your game previews. And let's get to it and see what we got coming up for your preseason week one. Well, to begin the preseason week one on Thursday afternoon, which is June the 4th, the season will begin as the Justin Moore Westhawks will take on their friend rivals from the South Division, which is the West Jackson Coyotes. And this will be a thrilling matchup because the Coyotes will have home advantage against the Westhawks, but that hasn't stopped the Westhawks from beating the Coyotes before. As from last season, the Coyotes did take a 52-51 loss against the Westhawks last season. And I gotta say that their game that they had last season was very amazing. But these two teams must know that this is a preseason game and it's nothing more just but a preseason game. These two teams are fighting for something very worth more than what you may think it is. But this game is going to be one of the most important games that you would expect to see because the Westhawks and Coyotes have always had an arrival with one another. But that rivalry that these two teams had could come to a closely end because it won't be looking good for the Westhawks. I mean, the Westhawks do have a good quarterback this season. They have a brand new quarterback this season, and they are looking to put up a fight this season. So it may go through and it may not go through, but we will have to see. We all know that the Westhawks defense is amazing, as we seen from last season, and I'm pretty sure that the Westhawks offense is also gonna put up a fight. No doubt about that. We know that for sure. We know for sure that the Westhawks defense and offense are going to put up a fight, and that would kind of be the same thing that the Coyotes will do. Most likely, the Coyotes offense will put up a fight, but I'm not sure about their defense because their defense was decreasing last season. But hopefully, the defense is able to improve this season for the Coyotes. Well, let's go for the game preview productions. So, the Coyotes have a 60% chance of beating the Westhawks on Thursday afternoon. And the only reason of that is because the Coyotes have home advantage and they may be able to splash the preseason and they may be able to splash the preseason getting their first win of the season, getting their first win of the season. The Westhawks has a 40% chance of beating the Coyotes, as this will be their first away game of the season, especially starting off for the preseason. They have predicted the final score to be 24-17. With the Coyotes coming out on top. Will this be your final score between the Westhawks and Coyotes on Thursday, or will the Westhawks be able to come back and pick up a win on Thursday? We'll find out. Well, for Sunday afternoon, we kick things off with another great replay of a game that we saw in the beginning of the preseason from 2023. Once again, the Bear Cubs and Jones Green Cheetahs meets in the preseason for the third time in 3 years. So maybe we could be looking at something new here for this game. As we all know, the great quarterback Emelo Watts will be stepping back in once again for another season, as we saw a great season from him last season, and he did have at least 620 yards, about 80 touchdowns, and a couple of interception passes. But we did see a lot of improvement from him last season. Same thing for the Jones Green Cheetahs, as we saw a lot of improvement from the Jones Green Cheetahs as well. But I got a feeling that this one is gonna go bad for the Cheetahs, only because of the defense problem that they've been having during practice. So it may be a little short problem for them, but we will have to see what it's going to look like for the Jones Green Cheetahs. The Bear Cubs defense and offense has also gotten good as well. Yeah, the defense and offense has gotten good for the Bear Cubs, and the Cheetahs offense has also gotten better as well. Is very better than what it was from the last previous seasons that we have seen the Cheetahs play. The only thing that the Cheetahs need to work on is really their defense, and if they're able to fix up their defense, maybe they will just have good luck. Well, let's take a look at what took place from last season. Last season, week 18, the Bear Cubs was able to pick up as much, week 15, were able to pick up as much yards as they could from the game that they had in week 15, and we are about to actually look and see who did they play for week 15 of last season. Pick me. But I'm pretty sure that who they played last season was, I think the Bear Cubs had a tight matchup for for from last season. What are they gonna pick? So let's see. Oh, wait for me. So in week 15, the Bear Cubs played the Fly Jets in week 15, and they were able to at least pull up 150 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions they threw to the Fly Jets in week 15. So that would kind of put them in a bad position against the Cheetahs, because the Cheetahs were able to pick up at least 160 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 complete catches, and then 3 interceptions they threw in their game in week 15 against the Bullhorns. Now that would be a good settlement to show in this game, but it all depends on how these teams can develop from it and what they can prove. So here are your game productions for Bear Cubs and Cheetahs. The Bear Cubs have a 55% chance of beating the Cheetahs. And that is because of how their defense and offense has increased, and their defense and offense could be a major problem this season and could put them in a better place and to get them into a different type of team. The Cheetahs have a 45% chance of beating the Bear Cubs at home, and although the Bear Cubs do have away advantage, the Cheetahs could use their crowd as home and has home advantage to beat the Bear Cubs, but we will have to find out. As AI predicted, the final score could be 24-20, but it's all about how the teams play. As y'all should know me, I honestly don't go off of the game predictions because you have to, it all depends on how the teams play. And that is your game previews. Bear Cubs, Cheetahs, Sunday afternoon. Well, also on Sunday afternoon, two teams will go head to head once again as they did in week 3 and week 12 of last season. That is the Greensboro Chargers and Oakside Thunder. And we have seen these two teams play as well. And the Chargers have also improved with their defense and offense as well. They've also improved with that. The Chargers will also be walking in with a brand new quarterback this season as he looks to try and fulfill his legacy into getting his first championship game. But it all depends on how he plays in the season. But there are other quarterbacks. The quarterback from last season will be playing in the preseason for the Chargers. The new quarterback will start when the season begins. When we start week 1, that's when he will begin. Also, Thunder has also improved with their offense, and they look to take home their first home win of the season. Well, let's take a look from week 15 of last season. Last season, Thunder played the Coyotes in week 15 and came up short as the score was 34-28. In the last seconds, Thunder lost the game against the Coyotes, but they did put up a good fight. They were able to get at least about 4 touchdowns. They were able to get 4 touchdowns, and they didn't throw any interceptions. They just wasn't focused in the game. The Coyotes at least threw two interceptions throughout the game against Thunder in week 15, but it just wasn't enough to get Thunder the win. The Chargers played against the Longhorns and also came up short in week 15 as the Longhorns beat them 21-15. But the Chargers also did put up a good fight. Chargers made at least 164 yards, 3 touchdowns. They did 2 touchdowns with a 2-point conversion, and they also had 6 complete passes. And also the Chargers had 1 deep pass in that game against the Longhorns that was picked off by the Longhorns and taken all the way back to the Longhorns touchdown. I remember that game. That game was so chaotic and crazy between the Chargers and Longhorns from last season. But that game was very chaotic between the Chargers and Longhorns. Well, let's take a look here at your game predictions for this game. The Thunder has a 55% chance at winning at home with home field advantage. which means this could be very tight for the Chargers, but we all know that excuse me. We all know that the Chargers are a fighting team, and we know that they are not going down without a fight. So we will have to see what is the next step for the Chargers. And the Chargers have a 45% chance at beating Thunder, which means that is nothing but 10% of what this game could cause for um for each team. So you never know. You never know what could happen. You never know what could happen in this game. You never know. But as AI predicted for this game to end with the Chargers with 20, Thunder with 24, will this be your final score, or will Chargers be able to outcome Thunder
Oh my God.
like they did last season, or will something change? We will find out on Sunday afternoon. Chargers, Thunder. Well, in just a few minutes, we're going to pause for a couple of seconds. And when we come back, we will have your game previews for Redbirds, Warriors, Bullhorns, Roadrunners, Spikers, Flyjets, Red Wolves, and Longhorns when we come back from commercial. And welcome back. We are back from commercials to continue with your game previews for preseason week 1. Well, as we continue with the game previews, next we are talking about Redbirds and Warriors. Well, Redbirds will be walking into this game with no type of advantage at all, as they've had a very messed up season from last season, as they got played over in the division round and playoffs. But this season, they look to turn all of that around as they walk into a brand new preseason. And the Warriors looks to start off their preseason with a win. The only thing is, can they prove that they deserve this win against the Redbirds? The Redbirds have had a very bad season last season. They look to change it up with a new start of lineup, and they have their offense and defense has changed up as well this season with some new guys out there on the field that looks to play for them this season. They look to change all of that up. The Warriors' offense and defense as well has also gotten better. They look to change that up as well. And a lot of things do look to change for each one of these teams. The Redbirds walking in this season with a brand new quarterback. The Warriors, same quarterback from last season. Well, let's take a look at the Warriors. At the end of the season from last season, the Warriors played against the Red Wolves, only having with 117 yards, 4 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns from last season in week 15 in their game against the Red Wolves. The Redbirds at the end of week 15 last season had a total of 217 yards, 6 complete passes, 1 interception, and 4 touchdowns. That's what the Redbirds had in their game against the Tigers in week 15. But the Redbirds were able to get the win over the Tigers in week 15 of last season. But it was the Warriors that fell short against the Red Wolves, as the Red Wolves beat them 41-23, and that was only because Tommy Long, the former Red Wolves quarterback, is no longer playing for the Red Wolves. He plays for the Red Wolves basketball team now, the Riverdale Red Wolves basketball team. Y'all may see him next season playing for the Red Wolves high school basketball team. But this season, the Red Wolves will be walking in with a new quarterback. But we will talk about that when we talk about game previews for the Red Wolves. Well, the Warriors look to change everything up in their favor this season, as they walk into the season with a brand new quarterback. And they also look to keep their offense and defense pushing. Well, the Warriors have a 60% chance of beating the Redbirds because of how their new offense and defense looks for this season, which could possibly get them the win. The Redbirds with a 40% chance of beating the Warriors, which means the Redbirds could possibly have a 20% chance of winning this game, and that's only if they can pull through and win this game against the Warriors. Do the Redbirds have what it takes to beat the Warriors, or will the Warriors leave Sunday afternoon with their first win of the season? We will find out. Well, next up, we are talking about the Blackdale Bullhorns and the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners pulled off an incredible season last season. Even though they were in the fourth seed, they were still incredible. Although last season, the Roadrunners had a very hard time with getting into the division round, something that they weren't able to pull off last season. But hopefully, they are able to pull it off this season. Last season, the Roadrunners had a total of 1,643 yards, 96 touchdowns, 38 interceptions, and 24 complete passes throughout the season, as the Bullhorns had 1,366 yards, 87 touchdowns, 36 interceptions throughout the season, and they also had 16 complete passes and press complete passes throughout the season, which that is very good and something you would expect for a team to have. Well, let's talk about how they performed in week 15 of last season. Last season, the Bullhorns played against the Cheetahs, which they came short, and they had 316 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they had 7 complete passes. The Roadrunners played against the Roadrunners played against um wait, let me see. The Roadrunners, I don't think they had a game in week 15. Oh, the Roadrunners played against the Bulldogs, which they were able to overcome. The Roadrunners had 1,666 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions they threw, but then they wasn't 2 of the interceptions they threw wasn't interceptions because they were picked back off by the Roadrunners, and then they also had 7 complete passes in their game against the Bulldogs from week 15 of last season. So I don't know how this game may go for the Roadrunners and Bullhorns. Well, the Bullhorns, now your game predictions. The Bullhorns has a 45% chance of beating the Roadrunners, and that's only because how they performed last season, and their defense still hasn't changed because a couple of their players from last season is still out from injury, so that could make this game very bad for them, and that's what gives them a 45% chance of beating the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners has a 55% chance of beating the Bullhorns, and that is because their defense and offense is locked in, and they also have the same quarterback from last season who put up a great show in the games that they had from last season. Well, as AI predicted, this game will end 20-24. But again, as I say, I do not follow the AI predictions. It all depends on how these teams play. So those are your game previews. Bullhorns, Road Runners, Sunday afternoon. Well, also on Sunday afternoon, 2 familiar teams who are familiar with one another will play one another for the second time in the preseason week 1. That is the Wooddale Spikers and the Fly Jets. as the Fly Jets walking in with three brand new quarterbacks. And the Fly Jets offense and defense has also changed a little bit this season. The Spikers, same thing for them. Things are also changing for the Spikers as well as they continue to progress this season to try and get their way into another championship game after that loss from the last championship game in that they had against the West Hawks, which was the 2026 championship game. And I gotta say, the Spikers just wasn't ready for that championship game. The score was 20-3. The West Hawks won the 2026 championship. So the Spikers looking for revenge this season, looking for nothing but revenge to get back into that championship seat and sit on the throne to whoever comes from what division, no matter if it's East, West, North, or South. They are looking to sit back on the throne once again. And the only possibility is, can they get there? We all know that the Spikers are a good team, and how they perform out on the field, I really got to say the Spikers are not a bad team. They're really a good team. The Spikers had 1,223 yards, 68 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, and 61 complete passes from last season. And that is we have never seen a team ever break that record earlier, besides when the Red Wolves did it in 1994. But other than that, we have never seen no type of record like that ever coming from the Spikers. Well, the Fly Jets last season were able to reach 1,000 yards. They had 1,028 yards, 16 complete touchdowns, 64 interceptions throughout the seasons, and that is over the limit of interceptions you would never expect for a team to get. And they had 38 complete passes. So that may be able to redemonstrate on how the Fly Jets are going to perform this season. The Fly Jets have a 60% chance of beating the Spikers because of how the Fly Jets are going to perform this season. I'm just going to say that, and that's going to be it for the Fly Jets, because the Fly Jets have always been trash. They've been trash since whenever they won a championship game. I think so far the Fly Jets have only won one championship game, and that was like way in the 19th century. Ever since then, the Fly Jets have not won a championship game. So hopefully they could be able to win a championship game because they haven't won a championship game since then. The last time the Fly Jets actually won a championship game was 1985 and 2004. So the Fly Jets actually has two championships in their career. The team with the most championships right now is the Red Wolves. And the Red Wolves have done it back-to-back twice. They won 1997, 1998, and then they turned around, did it 2020, 2021, and then they also won in 2025. So if I was any one of these teams, I would not try to let the Red Wolves get to another championship. Because if the Red Wolves get another championship, that's going to be their sixth championship. And that's going to make them undefeated in the whole entire high school football league. So if I was the Flyjets, Spikers, Chargers, Roadrunners, Tigers, I wouldn't want to see the Red Wolves nowhere near a championship game. Well, here are the teams who are still looking to get a second championship in their hand. That is the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and the Jaguars. One of those teams are looking to get a second championship in their name. Here are the teams with 2 championships. That is the Army Men, the Longhorns, Bears, Spikers, Flyjets, Redbirds, Warriors, Cheetahs, and Coyotes. The teams with 3 championships are Thunder, Bullhorns, Bulldogs, Chargers, West Hawks. Those are the teams with 3 championships in their favor. The team with 4 championships are the Bear Cubs. And on top of it all is the Red Wolves. Well, the Spikers has a 40% chance of beating the Flyjets. And that could change if the Spikers will be able to tie the game up. That would make it a fair 60-60 if they will be able to tie the game up. The only way the game productions will change if the Flyjets score 28 points first and the Wooddale Spikers get 21, they will have to score another touchdown in order to tie the game to make it even 60-60 to see who will take the game point home. That is your game previews for Spikers Flyjets. Well, next up, we are talking about 2 teams who took it to the mile and mile of mileage in that game from last season in Week 10. It is the Riverdale Red Wolves versus Bayview Longhorns. These 2 teams took it to the limit in Week 2 and Week 10 of last season, and they're looking to do it again. As a new quarterback for the Red Wolves will be entering the season, Justin Hillers will be in the season for the Red Wolves, but he won't be in the preseason. The guy who will be in the preseason is Xavier McHolland, who will be the quarterback for the Red Wolves in the preseason. And then in the season, Justin Hillers will hit the field for the Red Wolves. The Longhorns will also be using their same quarterback from last season, and the preseason quarterback will be Caleb Bryan from the Tigers preseason of last season. We've seen a lot from Caleb Bryan as he was the quarterback for the Tigers last preseason. The Red Wolves defense and offense has changed this season. Most likely the Red Wolves offense has gotten better this season. Defense still the same. Longhorns defense and offense is still the same, but they look to change that up as well. The Riverdale Red Wolves last season had 1,642 yards, 61 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, and 63 complete passes. Longhorns, 2,641 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions. And they also had 64 complete passes. So basically, when it comes to interceptions between these 2 teams, they are tied. But all that really means that these 2 teams are really the best in the East Division, and they don't know which one is the better team. But I'm pretty sure in this preseason, the Red Wolves are going to demolish the Longhorns. No matter what the predictions say, no matter what the predictions may be, I got a feeling the Red Wolves are going to dominate Sunday afternoon when they play the Longhorns. But we will have to find out and see. Well, let's talk about it here. The Red Wolves with a 45% chance of beating the Longhorns because of how the Red Wolves performed in week 2 when they played the Longhorns from last season, as they gave up 4 interceptions to the Longhorns, but still came out on top with the win. So I don't understand how they have a 45% chance of winning. But hey, it's the AI Productions. We can't control it. So they have a 45% chance of beating the Longhorns. The Longhorns has a 55% chance of beating the Red Wolves. And like I just said, the only reason why they have a 55% chance of beating the Red Wolves is because how the Red Wolves performed in week 2 of last season. As AI predicted, this game will end 20-24. But if the Red Wolves are able to score in the fourth quarter with the last 2 seconds on the clock, they will have a 65 to 55% chance. Well, that will bring the Longhorns' percent of winning down to 35, and the Red Wolves will have a 65% chance of beating the Longhorns. We'll all find out Sunday afternoon. Well, also Sunday afternoon will die down. Will be dying down with the games before Sunday night. Well, to continue Sunday afternoon, the Bears will take on the Waterwood Tigers, and this has been a very good matchup between these two rivals. The Bears and Tigers have played against each other a lot in the preseason. This is their 4th time meeting up against one another in the preseason, so I'm pretty sure these two teams are familiar with each other. The Bears will be walking in with the same quarterback from last season, and as well as the Tigers, even though we feel like the Tigers need a new quarterback for this brand new season, but they will not be getting one because the owner of the Tigers says he does not want to spend his billions worth of dollars on a brand new quarterback, and the quarterback is not worth getting him a championship. So that's what he said when the Tigers went live on Instagram. It was all over Instagram, and we kind of feel bad for the Waterwood Tigers. If they don't get a championship game again this season, it will only be because of his fault, only because he doesn't want to spend his money to get the Tigers a new quarterback and get them what they need for the team. Well, the defense and offense has changed for the Bears this season, as we've been watching them practice on their Instagram Live. Bears go live every Thursday on Instagram, showing that their defense and offense are practicing and getting ready and prepared for what's to come for this new season. Also, the Tigers have also been practicing and things to get ready for the brand new season as well. Last season, the Bears were able to pull off 1,316 yards with 48 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, and 16 complete passes. The Tigers, 1,218 yards, 64 touchdowns, 25 interceptions, and 26 complete passes is what they were able to complete from last season. So this could be a different advantage for the Tigers. Well, the Tigers have a 60 or maybe a high 70% chance of beating the Bears with their turf advantage, as they've been beating the Bears every year in the preseason. So, what is there to change now? The Bears have a 40%, low 30, or maybe high 50% chance of beating the Tigers. As AI predicted, this game will end 21-14, which I doubted. The Bears will try to prevent that from happening. We will find out Sunday afternoon to see what is there to come for that game. Well, we are about to go on commercial break again, and when we return, we will have your game previews for Bulldogs, Blue Jays, and Monday night Army Men, Jaguars. It all takes place when we come back from commercial. And we are back from commercial, bringing you back your game previews. Hello again, and welcome everyone. It is your boy Alex to continue here with your game previews. Well, on Sunday night, as the lights go down and the sun and the night skies shine over the Blue Jays and Bulldogs, it is the East Heights Bulldogs taking on Pembroke Blue Jays. Well, the Blue Jays will be beginning their preseason with a new quarterback and will be beginning the brand new season with a new quarterback. The Bulldogs will begin their preseason with a new quarterback and same quarterback from last season. Well, the Bulldogs' defense and offense has changed, and they are prepared for this season here. Um, Last season, the Bulldogs had 1,784 yards, 68 touchdowns, 36 interceptions, and 34 complete passes. The Blue Jays had 1,714 yards, 59 touchdowns, 41 interceptions, and 53 complete passes. So it looks like the Blue Jays may have just passed up the Spikers in the records. We will have to see about that one. Well, last season, let's see from the previous week 15 from last season. Let's see who did these teams play.
Idiot.
Well, in week 15, the Bulldogs played against the Roadrunners, as we explained in the Roadrunners game previews just a few minutes ago. And the Blue Jays played the Army Men, as they took a short loss to the Army Men in week 15. You know, week 15 really be one of the hardest weeks. A lot of these teams be predicting to win and they don't win. But, you know, that's just how it be. Well, things really have changed for the Bulldogs, as they are walking into this season with a better defense, better offense, looking to keep things in their favor for the season. Hopefully, things will get better for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays offense is getting better this season. I've seen the defense been playing, but it looks like they will be locked in for the game. So, with that being said, the Bulldogs have a 35% chance of beating the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have a 65% chance of beating the Bulldogs, which means this could all come down to a reunion of what we seen from last season when the Bulldogs played the Blue Jays. Well, and that is only if the Bulldogs could be able to score within the fourth quarter and tie the game up. That will make the game predictions change 65 to 65. Will the Bulldogs be able to do that? Or will they fail and the Blue Jays will win their first preseason game? We find out on Sunday Night Football. Well, Monday Night Football, as the night lights shine over Army Men and Jaguars. This one is going to be a very tight one, as the Jaguars and Army Men go head-to-head once again in the preseason for the sixth time. These two teams will begin the preseason. Will begin the preseason week 1 for Monday night. Now, I gotta say the Army Men will be better this season. So as the Jaguars. Jaguars ended their season 3-12, and that's not good. But the Army Men ended at 6-8 last season. So I'm pretty sure they are going to do good this season, and they won't look to strand. The Army Men walking with the same quarterback for the preseason and this season, because the other quarterback that was supposed to be doing the preseason is injured. But he will be playing in week 12, week 13, week 14, and week 15 for the quarterback. For the same quarterback from last season that will be playing in the preseason and the season. So he's going to be very tired. Jaguars defense and offense has also changed as well, as they look to walk into this game and take home the win. The only question is, will they be able to do so? Last season, Army men pulled up 995 yards, 68 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, and 16 complete passes. Jaguars with 847 yards, 27 touchdowns, 62 interceptions, and they had the at least amount of a lot of interceptions. And everything didn't go the way the Jaguars wanted it last season, but hopefully that is a change. Well, the game previews are the Army men with a 45% chance of beating the Jaguars, and the Jaguars with a 55% chance of beating the Army men on Monday Night Football. The Army men, as AI predicted, for this game to end 20-24. Will that be what we will see? Or will the Army men get the win over the Jaguars? Or will the Jaguars get the win over the Army men? We will find out on Monday Night Football for preseason week 1. Well, before we end these game previews, for preseason week 2, we'll begin with Red Wolves and Jaguars Thursday Night Football. It all takes place. That's preseason week 2. Thanks for watching Your Game Previews. Ooh.